And I'm enjoying the last few sips of my coffee. I just was teaching a class virtually, so I got out of that. But what we're going to talk about today, what we're going to discuss today, is how to reset our brain, or kind of refresh and refocus after the summer. Because I think a lot of us, a lot of people, a lot of us get very distracted in the summer. It's hot. First of all, it's the weather. Like, it's hot. You want to go outside. You want to, you kind of just want to like relax and chill. And I get it. Same thing. I love to just relax in the summer. For sure. But I do. I don't think I experience as much of a lull as other people do. I tend to, if I'm going to travel somewhere, I actually tend to travel less in the summer. I tend to travel a little bit more in the winter, the fall seasons, because it's hot somewhere, it's nice weather somewhere. So I tend to do that more other times of the year. Before we get into this topic, though, I do want to give a shout out to our newest channel members, and our newest channel members are. Because that's what you guys are entitled to. You guys are entitled to a shout out. It's how it works. So Steven Steele, and then Better Name, Barry Elrod, Sudanshu Oja, Abdul Latif Muse, I hope I pronounced it correctly, and Walter McLean. Welcome new channel members. I appreciate you guys, and I have more great members only content coming. I actually will be doing a full course on full mini course on deductive logic, propositional logic. So an intro to that. So stay tuned for that coming up. That members only video. And so let's get into the topic. So one of the most basic things, and it's obvious in a sense, but it's one of the most basic things, and people overlook, is like getting back into a routine, right? I don't know, let me know about your habits, but for me, or for many people, I know that during the summer you kind of get out of a routine a little bit, or your routine changes. I don't know. Like, tell me, does your routine change during the summer? I think a lot of people's routine does change. For me, slightly, as I said, slightly. But I know one of the biggest things that really keeps me focused and then refocused going into especially the fall months, is a schedule. It's really like a study schedule and a learning schedule. And for me, it's about little cues that I give myself. So for instance, very simple thing, very, very simple thing, but I will put books that I want to read next to my night table or in the night table drawer, just so they're really, really accessible. I mean, it's one of the basic principles from, Atomic Habits, if you read that book, or like just in general. There's a lot of behavioral research on this. If you want to get focused again, make it easy, right? Make it easy, make it accessible, and make it enjoyable. So I just posted a video last week about making book threads, making reading threads, and that makes it a lot more enjoyable. It makes it a lot more addictive than social media, honestly. And obviously it's ironic that I'm on here talking about how to get off social media and stuff, right? Because you're watching me on social media. But of course, social media can be educational. It can be intentional. Not all social media is bad. If you're here to educate yourself and grow yourself and interact with other communities and other people that are looking to do the same, obviously that's a good habit. But keep the books, keep study materials near you where you're going to, in this fall season, going into this fall season, near you to where you can access them. It's really like, it's the smallest thing, but it makes a big, big difference to keep them accessible to you. I also, many of you may not work well with schedules and time blocking your calendar and things like that, but, I have found, at least, and this is anecdotal, but I have found that putting stuff in my calendar, I may not get it done at first. I might not actually get it done. But if it's at least written down on my calendar, it's kind of like at least a goal. And if I fail at that goal, it's something that I can at least schedule again. I could try again. Right? If I failed, I time blocked something, I failed, hey, at least it was something that I tried to do. I tried to follow through on. It was the first step. And I've experienced that. Like, I've put something as a time block, I didn't quite get to it, but guess what happens? I just move the time block. And of course, you don't want to also get in the habit of moving that time block continuously again and again and again. But it has helped me a lot to at least get the process started. So I'd like to hear from you though, guys. What has changed about your learning habits in the summer? Are you less focused? Are there things that you're less focused on? Are there things that you're more focused on in the summer months? For me, I actually have a little bit more time to do reading and things like that. Although my schedule is a lot different, I'm teaching some classes and things like that in the summer, in the morning, and so that changes my routine. I know some people, they run businesses or and their clients are, let's say, on vacation during the summer, and so that changes their schedule. Are you working in a seasonal job or some job that has some seasonality, let's say, that affects your schedule, right? That might affect your attention span. Is it just the weather? And there's something to be said about actually going out and getting out of books, right? Getting out of that environment and getting out and walking in nature. We have to remember that there are different types of learning. Like, learning is not linear. Learning does not mean, oh, let's open a book. Like, I know I talk about books a lot, but really, we have to kind of get out of this. Books are not the only way to learn. You get out in the world and you learn. Like, I have had summer for me, a big part of summer for me is I for whatever reason, I do get to get out and see friends more often. Maybe because I get an excuse that it's good weather, right? I go visit people a little bit more often than I would, I find, in the colder months. Again, it depends on where you live in the world. Maybe it's hot all year round wherever you are. For me, I have 4 seasons. So yes, I do get out. But I learn an amazing amount from conversations. I get the most inspiration from conversations. One way you might consider getting refocused in the fall is something that I've been actually benefiting from a lot is co-working. And, for instance, I've gotten a lot of inspiration for videos just from co-working. And what do I mean by co-working? So I'm in the habit of, I'm at home right now, so I'm in the habit often of being by myself, just working on my own. And for many activities that I do, it's actually really necessary to do that. And you might find that as well. I think it's sensible. Like, there are certain tasks, learning tasks or whatever, that you want to work on and you want to be in total silence and you want to be on your own. Sure. There are other tasks that I found that selectively I hit up my friend or one of my friends or some other friend sometime and say, hey, let's meet up and let's co-work. Right? Let's get together and let's co-work. And sometimes we'll get into a conversation. Sometimes we'll be there and get into a conversation. And yes, sometimes it is distracting from the actual tasks that I want to get done. But I'll often learn so much from that conversation that will inspire me for instance, if I'm scripting something, I'm creating a video, I have a video idea, something like that. Depends on the task. But at the same time, for me, just being around other people while I'm working on my laptop, writing something, it's something about other people's presence that somehow gives me the inspiration. So I don't know if you're the same way, but if you haven't tried this, try co-working. If it's not working out, working on your own. If you're getting too distracted, like at home by other people and things, try co-working. Get it going into the fall. Try that, right? So that is definitely something that could be extremely effective. Again, shout out to, I shouted you out earlier, but shout out to all of our new channel members. Awesome. Welcome, welcome. So speaking of which, I am doing something called, it's ongoing right now if you're on my email list. It's the Critical Thinking Bootcamp. So I'm gearing up for, in these next 2 weeks, for a private webinar. It's free, totally free. And it's for the purpose of getting us back focused for learning, better learning habits, critical thinking tools, just general thinking tools and mental models going into the fall to hit whatever goals you're pursuing, to work on or refine your focus on specific projects or how you're going to tackle specific projects. So it's all designed around helping you with your learning skills and your thinking skills. Critical Thinking Bootcamp, if you need to get refocused and get a better strategy for your upcoming fall and your upcoming year in terms of your learning and growing, that is the Critical Thinking Bootcamp. I will post the link. In the pinned comment for the Critical Thinking Bootcamp for registration for that. Again, it's free. Right after the live is done, so it'll be on the pinned comment for this video. But you can also contact me directly if you're interested in the Critical Thinking Bootcamp, and also I posted something on the Critical Thinking Bootcamp. Again, it's free. It's a private webinar. I'm not going to do it on YouTube. It's a private webinar, and you can register for that. I have a post that I did about a week ago with the link to the registration. You can look at that and sign up there. But yeah, I will actually help you personalize your own plan. And again, it's something that I usually charge a lot of money to private clients of mine for. You guys will get it for free. So feel free to sign up. It's on the post from last week, and it'll be in the pinned comment, or you can reach out to me personally. It's just something I'm offering for my community. You guys are great. And so Focus Master, you said how to learn vocab and remember it. Okay, I'll come back to that in a moment. And log your screen name. I don't know how to pronounce that. Can I recover my brain from 5 years of smoking weed and nicotine? I've stopped both for over a month. Okay. Yeah, so let me answer that as well in a bit. Best way to read and understand books, and also I have a low vocabulary. Nikki, depends on your age when you smoked. Okay. So let's answer some of these. If you want to extend your vocabulary, and I tell this to all my students that I work with, all right, too. This is the simplest way. I won't say it's easy. It's the simplest way. You want to hear it? Read more books. And read books that are beyond your level. Like, read more books. Don't read like pop books. This is literally how you learn vocabulary. More vocabulary. Read a book like a work of literature, classic work of literature. Go through that book, and painstakingly, every time you read a sentence in which there's vocabulary you don't understand, go and write down that vocabulary, look it up, see how it's being used in the sentence. Maybe write that sentence next to the vocabulary word, and periodically you're going to review this list. And you don't want to memorize. Like, I'm not a big fan of memorizing. I tell this to my students too. Don't to some extent you do kind of have to memorize vocabulary. Like, it's good to make a list and stuff like that, but don't have that be your number one way to remember vocabulary. Try to read more books, because the more you read literature, for instance, you're going to see certain vocabulary words that you didn't know before repeated. They're going to repeat again and again, and so you're going to see them used again and again. How do we remember words? Actually, literally, how do we understand words? Let's talk about that. Do we understand words from their definition? No. That's actually not, this is more of a philosophical thing. We don't understand words from definitions. You didn't grow up learning words by learning their definitions. You learned it by ostension. Ostension is like pointing, right, or indication. You learn by ostension a lot of times, which is, again, it's like pointing or indicating, right? You're seeing what it's associated with in your life. You're observing in your environment, and you learn by tons and tons of examples, right? Essentially. So, in terms of, okay, I'm gonna address all your questions in order here. Let's see. Let's see. So recovering your brain. Log, or however you say your username, you will recover your brain. Your brain has a really amazing ability to heal over time. You can recover a lot of your ability just through engaging with hard material, right? And it's like the same thing I was just telling Focus Master here. If you engage with hard material, it's gonna be super challenging at first. It is. It's gonna be super challenging. It will be. Like you may be feeling totally overwhelmed, but don't give up. Like the challenge is just like growing, like building your muscles in a gym. At first when I was in the gym, I thought like 10 pull-ups is impossible. I could never do 10 pull-ups. That's crazy. Feel overwhelmed. Feels painful, right? I can't even get to 6 pull-ups. But then, I did get to 10 pull-ups, and then I thought, oh, I could do 12, right? But it's over time. You gotta feel that. There's no way around it. Knowledge and growth is pain, right? It is. It just is, right? It's worth it though. But if you persist through it, you will do it. So Dang, I hope I'm pronouncing it correctly. Dang Kua Q, hopefully. I'm dealing with social anxiety and I feel extremely stressful when I'm in social situations. Could you suggest any advice for me? Yeah, so I'm not a psychologist and I'm not like a clinically trained psychiatrist or anything like that. So I won't give, let's say, medical advice or like professional advice, but from my experience and from my limited understanding of the research on social anxiety, one thing that you can do is, as I'm understanding, is like acclimation, just bit by bit, like exposure. So bit by bit, exposing yourself little by little to like social situations that you thought are just a little uncomfortable, not the very, very scary social situations. So for instance, if you think being around crowds of people is very, very scary and like very drives your anxiety crazy, then can you do something smaller? Maybe can you do a phone call with a friend? Could you start maybe with a phone call with somebody, right? Challenge yourself to maybe that. And as you feel more comfortable with those things, you can go and take, bit by bit, smaller and smaller steps. But once again, I'm not a clinically trained psychiatrist or psychologist, and so my actual understanding of the effective strategies there is limited. However, I know, I'm aware of some of the research on this, and so that's a little bit of my understanding of what might help you. So which is best for studying, broadly or deeply? Both is the answer. See some of my recent videos on this, but you want to study something deeply, at least one or two things deeply. Like for instance, I'm an expert in value theory. Like how will you measure that? How do you measure that? Here's a way you can measure that. What topic could you be woken up in the middle of the night? Somebody can wake you up in the middle of the night, ask you very, very detailed question about some very niche detail in a field, and you can respond in a very detailed manner with 4 or 5 sources. I would say that's pretty expert, right? So that I'm that way with value theory. With other things, I can't be woken up in the middle of the night and do that. But I would say, like, seek to achieve mastery in at least one thing deeply. And what you're going to find as you go deep into a field is you're going to need to go a little broad to find out, to support that knowledge in that deep field, if that makes sense. So yeah. Let's see some of the comments here. Yeah, so Nikki, that's right. I have to put an effort into recovering, reading, learning, and you know, be kind to yourself. Like be patient with yourself. If you don't do it the first time, you really need to be patient with yourself. Do not give yourself a hard time. Oh, I'm not getting this. You know, I must not be able to do this. Really, like, get rid of that self-talk. It's very, very toxic, and be aware of it. Be aware of it is the first part. Be careful with that self-talk, because you will talk yourself very easily out of the process of healing and growing very easily. So I would also look for a support system, and also just, you know, obviously your sleep is important, your diet is important. Those all help your brain. It's very, very important. Don't overestimate or don't underestimate sleep and diet for helping your brain focus and be healthy. Like, for instance, I'll just be very, very clear. I'll give you a simple example. Like, if I eat something that is carbohydrate heavy for my lunch, I have a harder time focusing. I can still do it, but I have a harder time focusing in the afternoon, right? It's like, see if you react a similar way, right? If you're gonna, if that's what happens to you, like, monitor, how do you feel? It might not be the same for everybody. I know that's true for me. So I don't eat something that has a lot of carbohydrates for lunch. I'll eat something that's way more protein heavy. If I have carbohydrates, it's just a little bit, maybe a banana or something, like something that's not gonna spike my blood sugar too much, right? So yeah, Dong, I suspect that's Vietnamese, right? Like, there are so many languages. I think it's Vietnamese. Correct me if I'm wrong, but there are so many languages that I want to learn in so little time. I would love to go to Vietnam, and if I go to Vietnam, I would like to at least know a few phrases and not, like, speak English and, you know, disrespect everybody. So he's asking about resilience. Yeah. So, oh yeah. So you are Vietnamese. I see. I'm scrolling down and seeing all your comments. I'm trying to address all your comments one by one. Would learning or studying hard concepts increase my IQ or make me more intelligent? Okay, this is a good question. Learning or studying hard concepts won't, to be very empirically accurate here, technically won't increase your IQ very much. There's some evidence that it may increase IQ to some extent, but it won't increase your IQ that much. Although there is some research showing that certain things, certain specific programs or approaches might have a bigger effect than others. However, it's a separate question. This is a very important question. This is a separate question. Will learning or studying hard concepts increase your intelligence? That's a different question. And this I'm very passionate about. There's a difference between IQ and intelligence, okay? And I know you might say, well, no, IQ is included in intelligence. Yeah, IQ is included in intelligence. There are certain factors like fluid intelligence and so on and so forth that are included in the what's called general intelligence. However, that's just the model of intelligence. It's an imperfect model. It has a lot of problems. It's not that it's a bad model. It's a good model. What I'm saying is every model is wrong, right? George E.P. Box, the statistician, said every model is wrong. Every model is wrong. Some are useful, though. It's useful. Just don't take it with a grain of salt, because there are other types of intelligence or other aspects of intelligence that can't, for mathematical reasons, be included in the intelligence model. I've talked about this at length in some of my other videos. I'll continue to talk about it at length. But yes, you can increase your critical thinking skills, you can increase your metacognition, you can increase your other skills that are in part of intelligence, that are included in intelligence, through learning and studying hard concepts. IQ, though, maybe not, or maybe not as much. The evidence is not as clear. Let's see some of your other comments. Chesthetics, yes, you're late. Okay, it's fine. We're talking about how to get back into learning mode and refresh our brain for the fall. And by the way, guys, just for those who came on later, I am running, it's totally free. It's called the Critical Thinking Bootcamp. It's coming up on August 10th. You can register for it. It's totally free. I usually, when I do this one-on-one, this type of thing with one-on-one with clients of mine, I charge a lot of money for it, but I'm giving it to you guys for free. It will be a private webinar you can register for. I have a link, post that I posted on this with the link to the registration on my community page, on my posts that you can find on my profile. But the link will be pinned in the comment, in a pinned comment on this video after this video is posted, so you can check it out there, or you can reach out to me personally. We're going to be working on skills, refreshing our mind, how to refresh our mind, how to think better, think more clearly, develop our critical thinking skills and our learning skills for the upcoming fall. And if you do register, you are entitled to a personalized plan from me. I will help you. You just have to fill out a form to let me know what are your specific learning goals and what are you working on, and I'll help you build out a plan for yourself. So all right, so let's see what other the comments. Victor Frankl. I like the username, Victor Frankl. Amazing thinker. Amazing story, Victor Frankl. So great name. And then much love from Kenya. Yeah, Kenya. Another place I have not been, but yeah. Yeah, Nikki, you're right. The increase of IQ is dependent on age. Yes, age is a big factor. So younger, it seems to be, and I say this conservatively because research, there are some studies that show one effect and others, but most of the research, most of the evidence points toward the idea that, and my dog brought me her toy. This is her toy, by the way. Sorry for the disruption. She brought me her toy and she wants me to play with her. So I'm gonna just throw it on the bed so she's not going to bother me for the remainder of the time. Yes, Nikki, this is a new T-shirt, or not a T-shirt. This is a new shirt. So yes, thank you. I felt like it was a little bit stylish. I wanted to get it something new, but yeah, increase in IQ does seem to be dependent on age. Younger age, you seem to be able to manipulate that to some extent, and it depends a lot on socioeconomic environment, which shows there are problems with poor kids, for instance, not having resources and not having the environment to actually grow their brain properly, which tells us what? We should have more resources for kids to be able to be in better environments, right? So, Salman, sir, please, most of the time you learn something but forget quickly. What should I do to overcome this problem, please? I did answer this a little bit toward the beginning of this live stream, so feel free to watch the replay. But I have a lot of videos on this. But Salman, I might create a video on that coming up, like how to actually retain what you learn specifically. So, but yeah, Dawn. Oh, Dawn, you're welcome. So, Salman, it's a really complex question. So, yeah, you know what? And it requires a complex answer. I can't give you like a simple answer. It really depends on what you are learning. It does depend on what you're learning. The last person at the beginning of this live stream asked about vocabulary. So like, how do you do it with vocabulary? That's a little bit different than, let's say, if you're going to learn mathematical concepts. Okay, I'll give you an example of how, you know what, I'll answer this. If you're learning, for instance, mathematical concepts. So there's a mathematical concept in what's called time series analysis that I'm trying to perfect recently. It's called ARIMA. ARIMA is like a regression model. Without getting into too much detail, it's a regression model for what are called time series equations, which measure basically the changes in events over time, and the statistical models, special statistical models. It's used in economics, used in many fields, used in value theory, in fact, my field. So I wanted to get better recently on ARIMA, this specific regression model, and the steps in setting up the model and doing the regression and the mathematics behind the model. So I use ChatGPT. I use ChatGPT to check my understanding. I ask, hey, can you drill me on this? I actually do have a video that I posted this Monday, on how to use ChatGPT in that way. So, and how to use AI in that way to learn better. So, and remember things. So feel free to check that out. That can answer your question. And Dawn, very cool. Yeah, welcome. So Nikki, have I integrated any Buddhist teachings, approaches into my life? Yeah, I have to some extent. Yeah, I think that's one of the, yes, I have. I mean, that's the short answer. What specific ones? I think one of the most impactful parts of the Buddhist tradition, I think that's very, very symbolic, is, when he's under the tree and he's meditating and reaching enlightenment, and Mara, the demon, right, comes to tempt him and tries to tempt him with all of these things and temptations, tries to distract him. I think it's a great metaphor, actually, for our own life, or for our own lives, right? What are you distracted by? What are you being tempted by that's away from your enlightenment, right? That's taking you away from enlightenment. That's taking you away from self-mastery, right? That's a good question to ask. And it's very, very symbolic, that sitting under the tree, right? So, yeah, well, Salman, you can check out my video that's on my channel now. I posted it on Monday. It's about how to learn with ChatGPT. I think that would be helpful for you. And log transcendental meditation. I need to meditate more personally too. You guys are, letting me know that I need to know that. So I need to actually practice that more. Focus master, like thinking too much in math or science. Yeah. Anuj, there comes a time when my cognitive ability spikes, like I'm able to generate new ideas. My reading speed becomes very fast, and then a phase it slows down. Is this normal? Yeah, it's normal. What I would do in that case, if you're seeing that it's following these kinds of patterns, is I would try to notice what else is going on in your life when that happens. Sometimes, and I'm not saying this is what's happening, but sometimes when your learning speed goes down, your cognitive ability decreases, it could be because of stress. Stress is like one of the biggest killers of cognitive ability. So yeah, I mean, it's you might want to monitor that. Are there stressful situations in your life that are causing you to have that issue? So that might be the issue, right? The more we offload cognitive tasks, the more we're able to think more creatively. The more cognitive burden we take on, the more challenging it is to think clearly, right? So, but sometimes the more positive stress, though, this is the catch. The more positive stress you have, eustress, it's called eustress, not distress. The more positive stress you have, the more you can grow your mind as well. So it depends. Jane, yeah, depends on how your IQ is tested. It's a measurement so structured artificially, it doesn't test. Yeah, exactly. It doesn't test some abilities. You retracted your comment now, but yeah, it doesn't test some abilities. You're a lawyer, yes, okay, yes. So sometimes stress is too much, for sure. So, hey, the other people here were talking about meditation. Maybe that will help you too, Anuj. maybe that helps. So, guys, this is the live stream for today, but yeah, feel free to register for the Critical Thinking Bootcamp that's coming up. And yeah, if you need help finding that, where to register for that, feel free to ask me, reach out to me personally for the registration link. But you can also check the post that I did on last week, telling you guys about it. And it will also be posted in the pinned comment on this video after this live is done. So thanks guys for spending time with me today. I love you all. I hope to hear from you more soon. Feel free to reach out anytime. You guys are great. And Anuj, I'm glad you discovered me as well. Happy to have you as part of this community. And yeah, be with you guys soon. Take care, guys. Have a wonderful day.